What's up? Today is January the 29th, I believe. January, it is a Tuesday, 2025. So, yeah, check it out. I just want to start this off with saying solitude. It is very important. Solitude. It's important to take time to yourself alone. It is very important because when you take time to yourself, you use that's time to get to know you better. You can gain clarity on your life and things around you. You know, you could use that as a time to almost recalibrate your energy. You know, it's you don't even realize how often you have to recalibrate, or you should be trying to recalibrate. You shouldn't be walking around super emotional all the, especially as a man. If you're walking around super emotional all the time and you can just fly off the handle anytime something's uncomfortable, it's not good. It's definitely not going to help you manifest anything good in your life. So it's important to recalibrate. Take time to recenter yourself. You can do that through alone time. Through alone time, you can gather your thoughts. A lot of people are afraid to be alone. A lot of people's biggest fears, the biggest nightmares, are to be alone. Now, I necessarily don't have that issue. I wasn't afraid of that because I've always had somebody in my life. I had my twin and other siblings. But I've been in many times in my life, I still do. I'm naturally a loner. I like my alone time. I use that time to get to know me better. You can take that time to find out more about yourself and about your life. You get to know you deeper, you know? It's not a bad thing to be alone. People say the word alone as if it's something to be feared, you know?
Well, I think there's a difference between being alone and there's a difference between being lonely.
Okay.
Lonely is that's more of a. I think lonely is the actual fear of being alone. And being alone is just a matter of spending time to yourself, which is more like solitude. But yeah, I see a lot of people afraid of being lonely,
Yeah.
and I think it's an unnecessary fear. I think it's a healthy thing to be alone at times anyway.
I mean, like I said, that's a time to kind of recharge yourself, get your strength back, you know? Like me personally, because I work in a field where it's a lot of stimulation, a lot of mental stimulation on a constant basis, and I mean constant. So my energy and my mental focus needs to be completely on the people that I'm dealing with, you know. Um, so by the time I get home, I'm beat, man. Mentally, like it's hard for me to try to recharge and be around people and talk to people and have long conversations and shit. And then I gotta come. I don't gotta, but I'm willing to make time to come do this because I need to connect with y'all. I need to see how y'all feel about these types of things. I know I'm not the only person in the world, so please get in these comments. Let us know how you feel. Don't be afraid to speak. Don't be a stranger. You know what I mean? Like, subscribe, get the likes up. Um, but on the note of being alone, it's really the biggest gift. We go through some times where things get tough. Like for example, say your girl broke up with you and your friends you just ain't feeling the same things that they're into anymore. Things that people around you are doing, they just don't make sense to you anymore. You've grown, but they haven't. You've changed, but they haven't. You know, and there's nothing wrong with that. That might lead you to an alone space. It might be dark for some people. For some people, it's great. But I think it's necessary for everybody to take time to be alone, to get in tune with themselves, you know? Um,
Right. So solitude. There's sometimes what I will say about solitude is from past experiences is that I feel like if you don't take time for solitude, eventually the universe will make you take time for solitude. And when the universe makes you do it, it's usually kind of an abrupt situation, or it's not the most pleasant situation that causes that, because it's going to be basically what I'm saying is there will be a catalyst that creates that solitude for you. And sometimes it doesn't always feel like the most positive. But one way or the other, you're going to get that solitude. So I suggest you deliberately make time for solitude. And when I say that, what I mean is something as simple as taking 30 minutes to yourself daily. And I do mean daily. 30 minutes to yourself in silence. If not in silence, at least to yourself. Because what you'll find from that is clearer thoughts. Creatively, you get better ideas. Any answers that you were looking for to a certain problem that you couldn't solve, it'll appear in that solitude. I guarantee that. I can't guarantee much, but I guarantee that will happen. It's never a miss with that. If you're taking real solitude to yourself, those answers will come. So, yeah, that's one of the good things about solitude and how to do it. But take heed to what I said about the whole take deliberate time to take solitude, because otherwise the universe will do it for you, and it's never turns out as well as it could be if you were just made the time deliberately to have solitude. So don't wait for the universe to force you to do it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I mean, and you also you don't owe nobody nothing that you can't give. If your energy is spent, you need to just speak the fuck up and tell them that. Say, I don't have it today. I need to chill. I need to take some time to myself. Don't feel guilty about taking time, alone time. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. If anybody that loves you, that if they're mad at you for wanting to take time to yourself, be it your girlfriend, your wife, your boyfriend, your friend, your brother, your sister, anybody in your life, if they love you, then you can articulate to them clearly that you need some space alone for you, and they're not happy about it, and they're trying to make you feel bad about it, then maybe that's exactly why you need the alone time.
Right.
Because these are people that don't necessarily, they may love you, but out of their ignorance or their selfishness, they may not have your best interest at heart. I've seen that before, and it happens like that sometimes.
Sometimes they don't understand. You know what I mean? It's not. I wouldn't necessarily every single time they don't have the best interest at heart. It's simple as human stuff. They don't understand you necessarily in that sense, because they ain't you. So they're not in your shoes unless they get it, and they don't need to get it. But what you need to do is still take that time for solitude, regardless if they understand or not.
Yeah. And with solitude, you can take time. You could use that time. Get in shape, learn a new language, get into meditation. That's another way to deeply get into knowing yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is all healing.
And improving yourself.
And improving yourself.
Yeah.
You could take the solitude and use that time to, like for a long time, for a while, like a month back, I had got hurt and I couldn't go to work because the nature of my job I couldn't actually be at work because the nature of it, I couldn't use my arm. So I had a month of not working. That ain't cool. That is not cool. Not in my reality. So check this out. Through that, instead of being anxious and worried about how I was gonna pay the bills and this and that, because it was plenty of bills coming in. It was lots of shit coming in, and I know to other people, and it just looked like I wasn't doing shit, But what else choice did I have? It was what it was. I use my resources and everything, but what I'm getting at is that alone time. That alone time, I used it wisely. I got online and looked up some certification programs. I got that cracking so I can improve my financial situation. What I did was I got back into working out, as much as I could. I didn't use the arm as no excuse to not be able to work out. I still was putting in work. You know what I mean? I was meditating, like crazy, because I knew that, for one, I'm not the type to just be sitting around for too long. I just really not really good with that. But I utilize that alone time to kind of build myself up in certain ways. So that way, when I be ready, I learn from this experience, and I've helped me avoid not go back to doing that. In case it's ever happen again, I'll be ready. So alone time will help you discover a lot of different things around in your environment, internally and outwardly.
I have a question for people who are in my situation, let's say men or male or woman, if you're in a relationship, what do you do, or do you do it, to take time for solitude? Because I think solitude is even more important if you're not single. If you're in a relationship, then you really have to make that time for solitude. Because as a single person, you already have a lot of solitude. I would assume, that's kind of why you're single. So it kind of comes with it. But if you're in a relationship, you're in a partnership with someone, there may not be a lot of time for solitude. Or does that person that you're with allow room for solitude? So what do you do? Leave in the comments what it is you do that when you to make time for solitude, or do you even do it, or do you feel like you even need it? I'll tell you a story about, or not a story, but at least an example of what I try to do. It doesn't always work though, but I try to do is make time for solitude in my relationship. Is I'll let her know ahead of time, like on Friday this week, I'm gonna take time to not talk to anyone. Not you, not my brother, not my dad, no one. Anyone I'm close to. I'll literally, if I have to, not answer the phone. And I'll tell people that, or at least try to communicate that. Say, hey, I ain't doing nothing today. I'm not talking to anybody today. Now, not everybody understands it, but that's beside the point. The fact is, I do communicate that. I tell them ahead of time, days ahead of time, hey, I'm not doing anything that day. So, just so you know, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just taking time to myself. And when I say take time to myself, that just might mean sometimes that might just mean sitting around by yourself, watching TV all day by yourself, or meditating, which I do all of that, or I'll go walk on the beach by myself, maybe read something to myself for a while, but it's all by myself and no one else. It doesn't include anybody else. So, that's what I do to take time in a relationship to make solitude. I know there's a lot of you people listening right now that are in relationships, and I'd like to know what you do to make solitude, if you do it at all. And when you do it, what happens? What's the outcome? I want to know, So let me know, answer that question in the comments. And also, please make sure to subscribe to stay connected to us, okay? So we can continue this conversation and this exchange. But let me know in the comments, what do you think about that? Because I am curious about other people in these relationships, partnerships. What do you do to make solitude, and if you do it at all? But for me, I think it's something that maintains a healthy balance in my relationship. I would do it with each other too. We do it with each other, even on some friendship and on some other family shit. Solitude is important in all relationships, I believe. But let me know.
For sure. Yeah, and also like the idea of taking time to be alone, solitude, is that you gotta realize like your nervous system is gonna eventually get, it's gonna be overloaded. We live in a world, especially us, like we live in LA where there's a lot of stimulation constantly. I live downtown, it's noise all day long. You know what I mean? And then we gotta go out in the world and deal with the world and shit, you know what I'm saying? Those of us that gotta go work and go do things, and deal with the people. That's a lot on your nervous system. So you don't want your shit to fucking shut down on you, man. It's not a good look. And it will happen eventually on some level. You'll know when you're ready to shut down, because you're just gonna stop losing interest in things. You'll stop losing interest in all types of things that make you happy. I've been there. It's called burnout. That's what it is. It's called burnout. And I realize that even in my field where I work, a lot of people, the job itself, it's completely in consideration of burnout. They designed, for the employees, they designed it the way it is in terms of shifts and everything, because they know that people get burnt out. It's the number one thing. They just know it. It's just a very common thing. Same thing can happen to anybody else in life. Even if you don't have the type of job I have, you're still gonna get burnt out eventually. That's why I don't understand, like when I see people listening to certain types of music, like that real loud, aggressive stuff, and it's fine, it's cool, at certain times I like to listen to it if it makes sense. But like I be tripping off certain people, like, I'll be like, I'll see people in a car, I know people who listen to this type of music, really aggressive, loud, obnoxious shit from morning to night. then you wonder why you're irritated all the time, and you wonder why you can't really relax. You know, why you're anxious. You know, why you just get angry easily. You know, you might be overloaded. You might be having too much stimulation. You know, it's good to give your body a break, your nervous system a break. You know, take some time, take a few deep breaths, man. Just get quiet for a minute, man. That silence in your mind is really where it's at. That inner silence. With that inner silence, man, a lot of beautiful things can happen in between that. You know, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I don't know, but deep breathing. We're gonna get into deep breathing soon enough because I really think that not only I know I've benefited from it, many different areas of my life, but I think you guys can too. Let me know if you guys think we should start getting into some breathing meditations because I think you guys could benefit from it. And I would really like to help you learn a few techniques. It doesn't take a lot of time, you know what I mean? It doesn't take a lot of work. And anybody can run off to the bathroom for 5 minutes and practice these techniques. So please, let me know in the comments, do you want us to go over some breathing techniques? I know a couple that I've been using for years. And it's the only reason why I ain't snapped and hurt somebody. You know what I mean? That and the fact that I got shit to lose. So it's what helps me get through, man. That's what I do with my alone time, you know. As I said, it's really, really overrated. It's not overrated, underrated, I should say, underrated in our world because it's constantly trying to tell you to go, 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 go. Work, 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 work. Talk, 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 talk. You know what I mean? Shit. And you know, when I think about it, that may be why so many people now rather text the whole time. And when they first meet somebody and they go on a date, they rather just fucking text the whole time.
Yeah.
As opposed to talking all the I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the kind of person that can just talk on the phone the whole time for hours. Not even when I was a kid was I able to do that.
Yeah. I don't even like having the phone that close to my head that long.
That part.
That's another conversation.
Yeah. You ever seen people on the phone all damn day? Yapping all damn day. At nighttime, you know. I mean, I remember teenagers. I was a teenager. I did that too.
I think that drains a lot of your energy for sure.
I think it drains your energy too.
Yeah.
You feel drained afterwards. You know. I don't know how these women do it because it don't seem to bother them. Yeah. I see a chick. Man, one time I saw a chick driving hella fast and reckless on the road. She's yelling at the phone as she's driving. I was supposed to be on the road, but she's yelling directly at the phone, talking to the phone as she's driving, emotional, yelling. I'm just like, is it really that serious? I don't know. I like life, and if I'm gonna get in the car and drive, I'm gonna try to do it safely. That requires my eyes to be on the road. You know, all my senses engaged, not on the phone.
Yeah, I definitely don't talk on the phone when I'm driving. Try to focus on one thing at a time. Matter of fact, that also opens up another conversation that we'll have more time to talk about later about focusing on one thing at a time. You know, maybe that'll be another video we'll have because it seems like everybody around me either expects me to be doing more than one thing at a time, or they are doing that, and I just don't want to do that. I don't want to live my life like that, trying to do 1,000 things at once. I'd rather focus on one thing, do that one thing, and then move on to the next. But like that was just one example. Like I get a lot of times I get people calling me while I'm driving, and then wonder why I didn't talk to them while I was driving. My answer is because I was driving. Simple answer that. That's why I didn't answer. I was driving. I'm not gonna do more than one thing. Plus, you know how dangerous it actually is. I say it all the time. So, but you know, that's another conversation as far as focusing on one thing at a time. But as far as this solitude goes, those are a few reasons why it's important and why you should do it.
Yeah, solitude can help you achieve better focus, and I think that's something we all can use in our lives. There's so many things in our lives our everyday lives, that's demanding our attention and our energy and our focus. I just think that we should be using that time to focus that time on being alone, find some solitary time so we can focus on us and get you right, and get your life together, get your mind right for the people that you love and the people that you want to be there for. It's important. It's not just about you. It is about you, but it's not just about you. You understand? If you have to have a certain amount of energy to be able to give that back to the people around you. So don't think you can just go from work and not take some time to yourself and then go out in the world and be around other people and go do other things. Take that time to yourself. You owe that to yourself, you know, because this thing is about love, self-love. Remember, that's what we're talking about here. So take the time to be alone Find some solitude. Love yourself. I love you. And I also love me. You need to love you. Love yourself for yourself. I'll holla at y'all till next time.